Good evening, everyone. This is Chris around the ATL. Right, it's not right, is it? On a Thursday evening, it is still December 11th. This is part two of my series talking about the first quarter of the 2025 season for the Atlanta Hawks. This morning, I talked about specifically the first 5 games of the 2025 season. And I'm going to be doing 4 episodes because there's a lot of context that people have completely thrown out, completely on purpose, mind you. Okay. So I'm trying to put things in a perspective that even people who are not fans of the Atlanta Hawks can understand. If you're simply a fan of sports or simply a fan of the NBA, you'd be able to understand it. Now, this morning, guess what? I forgot to put the show on YouTube. So I just uploaded it. So it'll probably be up tomorrow. But this is part two. But before I get started, here's something that you need to know. The first 25 games of the 2024 NBA season, the Atlanta Hawks were 13 and 12. The first 25 games of the 2025 season, the Atlanta Hawks are 14 and 11. That is a 1 game difference. That is a fact. Okay. So, again, as I mentioned this morning, not sure what kind of math y'all are using, but the people who feel a certain way, please explain to me how 14-11 is so much better than 13 and 12. And remember, of 13 and 12, you had Jalen, you had Zach, you had Dyson, you had Clint, you had all these different people on that team. And this is a completely different team. And Trae Young had missed a lot of games, right, this season. And we're 1 game better than a year ago. The Atlanta Hawks lost 8 games after Trae went down. They did not go undefeated. Did they? We have 11 losses to prove otherwise. We have 8 games that the Hawks gave up 120 points or more without Trae Young on the team to blame for that, right? We have several games where the Hawks were down 19 or more points in a game, and we didn't win all of those games. Did we win any of those games? Right? We just had a game where we saw the Hawks give up 58 points in the paint, 26 fast break points, and 43% from three. How is that possible if Trae Young isn't on the floor? We lost a game against the Spurs without Wemby. We lost a game against a 1-win team and a 4-win team, and almost another 4-win team. What we were able to manage to hold off the Charlotte Hornets and won that game by 3 points. All of that without Trae Young. Now, like I've said, once Trae went down, I said we need to be above 500 when Trae comes back. We're still pacing that. But we're 14 and 11 right now, guys. So for the people who keep saying all kind of crazy stuff, we're 14 and 11. We're in 9th in the East. 9th, not 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th. We're 9th. It's a big gap. So are we really better without Trae Young? That's not even my question tonight, but I'm just throwing it out there because the real subject is the first 25 games in. And I said again, you have to talk about context. Okay. So this morning, like I said, I went over the first 5 games of this season. Okay. So now what I want to do in this particular episode is I want to go over the last few games of 2024. Okay. Because remember, we have a different roster this year than a year ago. Again, how can any of you argue that NAW is not better than Niang, Caris LeVert, and Terrence Mann? Remember, we have 5 players that are no longer on the roster that I told y'all, if those guys are on the team, our team is going to be automatically better in all kind of different aspects, but mostly points per game given up. Because those players weren't defensive players. Clint can't play anymore, right? Caris don't care about defense. Niang can't play defense. Terrence Mann didn't do anything. Garrison Matthews definitely never played no defense. We have a better points per game given up from a year ago, almost let's see, 119 to 115. What is that? Is that 4 points? That's 4 points. That's a lot. That's why we're above 500 right now. But that's why I went over those first 5 games to show you here's what everybody in each game actually did. Not what you think they did, but here's what they did. So that's why I want to go over the last 15 or so games of the 2024 season. Because I want to show y'all here's what we did game for game. Here's what everybody else on the roster did game for game. Because I need y'all to explain yourselves on saying, well, everything has to be one player's fault, but there's 13 people on the roster. So let's start. I was trying to think of where I wanted to start. And I think I'm going to start from, let's see, March 14th. Is that where I said? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's 16 games. So yeah, we can start from March 12th. March 12th was a game against the LA Clippers. Okay. That was a game we lost 121 to 98. That made the Atlanta Hawks 32 and 35. Okay. 32 and 35. So let's pull up that game. That was on March 14th, 2024. So let's see. Atlanta Hawks versus Clippers, March 14th, 2024. See if I can pull up this game. That is not it. There we go. Well, that's Fox Sports. I don't want that. All right. This is going to be harder than I thought. Trying to do this live, huh? Oh, maybe it's because I misspelled it. Unfortunately, I had to start later than I wanted to because for some reason, not sure why, there was a fireworks show tonight, and it was loud and it was elongated. So, okay, do I have the right date? I think I do. All right, let's go to the next page. The reason I'm trying to find the NBA page for this particular game is because I want to give you the box scores, the proper box scores. ESPN doesn't do the best job of that. So let's try to go to Google. See, this is going to take longer than I want it to. Just this part right here. Let's see. Hawks versus Clippers, March 14th, 2024. There we go. All right, so we lost that game 121 to 98. I want y'all to pay attention to that. First and foremost, we lost this game by a few points, okay? In this game, Zach had 15, Mohamed Gay had 5, Kongu had 18, Dyson Daniels had 6, Trey had 17, Niang had 0, Dominic Barlow had 10, Karis LeVert had 12, Terrence Mann had 9, Vit had 6. That was it, okay? In this particular game, Trae Young did have 7 turnovers. Sure did. Yep. He surely did have 7 turnovers. Kongu did have 10 rebounds. Right? Now, Clippers, Kawhi had 25. Was Trae Young guarding Kawhi Leonard? 18 by Zubac. Did Trae Young guard Zubac? Harden has 25. Trae Young was not guarding James Harden, nor should he. But you had 3 people off the bench score double digits too. Derrick Jones had 14, Coffee had 12, and Bogey had 12 in this game. Let's check the game charts. So in this game, Clippers had a 23-point lead in this game at a certain point. Clippers had 64 points in the paint. They had 25 fast break points. Now, explain to me and show it to me how Trae Young was the reason for all of that. The 25 fast break points and the 64 points in the paint. And the 44% that the Clippers shot from three as well. Let's see how many threes the Clippers hit real quick. This is just one game. This is a loss. 121 to 98. Okay? Actually, it's not a few points. This was a blowout. I don't know why I said a few points. But you know what I meant. The Clippers in this game only hit 12, but they hit 12 of 27, so a very high percentage, right? They didn't need to hit 12 threes. Why? Because they could score at will in the paint. Again, I go back. How is Trae attributed to that? Not sure how, right? Zach had 3 turnovers. Dyson had 3 turnovers. Niang had 3 turnovers in this game as well. Dyson Daniels was 2 of 12 in this game. You think that helped? 2 of 12? Think that was positive? Niang was 0 for 5 in this game. 0 for 5. You think that helped? Terrence Mann was 1 of 5 from 3 in this game. Think that helped? Dyson was 0 of 4 from 3 in this game. You think that helped, right? This is just one game. Now, that's a loss, all right? Let's go to the next game. Brooklyn Nets. We lost that game 122 to 114. Now, that was a lot closer game. I think I mixed up the games. I was looking at the wrong game. So 2 days later, the Hawks lose to the Brooklyn Nets, 122 to 114. Now, mind you, by the way, that loss to the Clippers, again, put the Hawks at 32 and 35 on the season. All right. So let's pull up this Brooklyn Nets game. That's March 16th. So let's see if I can pull that up. March 16th. What's my time looking like? This is going to be tough to do all these, but we're going to try. There we go. Google's helping me out. So in this game, the Hawks lost 122 to 114, right? So not by a lot, right? So let's see what everybody did in this game. So Zach had 16 points in this game in only 22 minutes. Muhammad Gay had 2 points in this game. What did y'all remember me saying for a long time? Okay. Is that this was last year should have been Muhammad Gay's breakout season because JJ wasn't playing anymore. JJ only played 36 games. We were 18 and 18 as a team with JJ. JJ goes down. Muhammad Gay had opportunity to solidify himself as a backup power forward, and he did not do that. And here's another game where he didn't do that. He did have 3 blocks in the game, but he had 2 points. We lost this game 122 to 114. Okongwu had 21 points. Hold on, y'all. Let's see. Okongwu had 21 and 15 in that game. Dyson Daniels did have 14 in this game. Trae Young had 28 and 12 in this game. Vit had 8. Terrence Mann had 13. Niang had 12. Dominic didn't score. Okay. So why did we lose this game by so little points? Now for the Nets, Cam Johnson had 28. Keon Johnson had 22. Again, their bench, you had 2 people get double figures. Watford had 13. Lewis had 10. So let's look at the game charts. The Nets, now the Nets, they only have 48 points in the paint in this particular game. They had 17 second chance points. They did not have a lot of fast break points in that game. Fortunately, the Hawks was able to offset that. Now, the other part of that is Brooklyn a running team? not so much. The Hawks did have 62 points in the paint in this game. So how did we lose this game? You want to know why? The Nets hit 48% from three in this game. So let's see how many threes they actually hit in this game. They hit 17. They hit 17 threes in this game. Couldn't stop them, apparently. So tell me why that's Trey's fault. We lost a game by what? Is that 7 points? 8 points? Mohamed Gay had 2 points in this game. Vit had 8 in 26 minutes. He had 8 points. Trey had 28 and 12. Had 6 rebounds in that game too. 2 steals. It's Trey's fault. Right? Interesting. Interesting concept, Cotton. Next game was a victory. This was against the Charlotte Hornets on March 18th. So let's pull up March 18th real quick. See if we can get going through some of these. March 18th against the Hornets. Because again, if you say that Trae Young is the reason you lose every game for 7 seasons, you think you want to show it. Prove it, right? What did I do this morning? I showed you 5 games. And what happened in those games, 2 of those games I actually did game reviews. I posted them in the chat. You can go look at it later. So we win this game 134 to 102. It was a blowout. So in this game, Zach had 21. Guess what, though? Mohamed Gay had 4 points in this game. You see what I'm saying? Like, Okongwu had 15 and 10. Dyson had 22. He played well in this game. Trey had 31 and 8. Vit had 5. Terrence Mann had 12. Niang had 6. Dominic Barlow 12. And Garrison had 6. We won this game. Pretty easy. Okay? So that was a victory. Next game. Golden State Warriors. We beat Golden State. Now, this game got the Hawks to 34 and 36, by the way. So let's pull up this Golden State game and see how we won that game. Because apparently we won it. We didn't lose it. Golden State. I missed the date. What's the date on here? March 22nd. All right. Uh-oh. March 22nd. Because, see, there's people out here who also think we lost all the games after Jalen Johnson went down. And you know how I can prove that? It's just simply not true. Jalen Johnson's last game was, I believe, January 23rd. We were in the middle of a long losing streak. We had lost 3 in a row. He was on the team still. We had lost 3 in a row. Then we went on to lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more games, right? Then we won a game, then we lost a game. Then we won 3 in a row, then we lost 3 in a row. We won 1, lost 2, won 1, lost 1, won 4, lost 2, won 3. See what I'm saying? So we didn't lose all the games after Jalen Johnson left. Again, we ended up 40 and 42 last year. We won 40 games last year, which was an improvement from the year before, if you remember, right? And just real quick, because I'm segueing here, from the last game that Jalen played, okay, and this was also right before, I believe, the trade of Hunter, okay. After that, now listen to me now, okay. After that, Trae Young, this is just, and I'm gonna get back to where I was talking about, but after he went down, around January 30th, I believe, February 1st, this is what Trae Young was doing. 34 and 17, 34 and 9, 32 and 12, 24 and 10, 35 and 14, 19 and 8, 38 and 19, 38 and 6, 38 and 13, 28 and 13, 36 and 8, 35 and 12, 28 and 12, 31 and 8, 25 and 10, 28 and 12. So it's Trae's fault. Again, when you say one player is the reason, you need to prove it, because that right there don't sound like that. If Trae Young was scoring 6 points and 3 assists a game, maybe you have an argument now. But not what I just told you. That doesn't make sense to say those kind of things. I'm just concentrating on the last 15 games of the season, though, right? So we're at Golden State now. Golden State, we beat them 124 to 115. Let's see how we beat them. Very interesting. Okay. Very interesting. Let's see. So in that game, Trae Young had 25 and 10. Dyson had 12. Okongwu had 22 and 12. Muhammad Gay had 2. Zach had 14. He played 30 minutes that night. Caris LeVert had 14. Dominic Barlow had 4. Niang had his best game probably of the season, had 23 points on 8 of 11 shooting. Vitt had 3. Terrence Mann had 5. Curry was not playing in that game, just to let you know, but Butler was. Draymond Green was. Podziemski was. Kuminga was. But we ended up beating them, though. All right. All right, next game. Beat Golden State. We also went right after that and beat the Philadelphia 76ers 132 to 119. That was March 23rd. So let's put March 23rd in here. Philly. Let's see how we beat Philly. Now, again, the record at that point, 35 and 36. Right there, almost back to 500. But let's see what they did, though. Hawks rolled past Sixers. That was the caption there. So in this game, Zach had 22. Muhammad Gay, 6. See, a lot of people, Muhammad Gay averaged 6 points a game last year, guys. He's averaging 6 points a game this year. Part of the season of this season, as far as the off season, part of the possible success of the Hawks was Muhammad Gay taking a leap as well, right? Hitting shots on a regular basis. Okay. The other part of it was Porzingis playing 70 games. The other part of it was JJ coming back. Again, the Atlanta Hawks were named the dark horse for the championship based off of JJ returning, getting Porzingis, getting NAW, getting Luke, right? All those players playing well, plus the players that we kept maintaining or even getting better. That's what all of it was precedent of, okay? In this game, Trae had 28 and 12. Dyson had 8. Okongwu had 14. Again, Muhammad Gay had 6. Zach had 22. Niang, 20 points. There you go, 20 points, 6 for 9. That's why eventually they had to start starting Niang because he was producing more as a backup power forward. LeVert had 7. Barlow had 13. Terrence Mann had 9. And Vitt had 5. Okay, so we beat Philly. Next game, Houston Rockets. We lose to them 121 to 114. How did we lose to Houston after winning 3 games in a row? What happened? Must be Trae's fault, right? Let's find out. Now, again, I'm not doing game reviews on any of these games. I'm just giving you the basics of everything just to show you what everybody did. That was March 25th. So let's put March 25th in here real quick. I'm looking like I think I might be able to almost finish on time. Kind of, sort of. We'll see. There it is. So how did we lose to the Houston Rockets by 7 points? Zach had 18 in that game. Muhammad Gay, 4. How many games so far has Muhammad Gay, just one player, not scored double digits so far? You don't think that had anything to do? Okongwu had 14. Dyson Daniels had 19. Trae had 19 and 12. Niang had 12. Caris LeVert had 5. Terrence Mann had 16. Dominic Barlow 2. Vitt 5. There's a pattern there. Garrison played some. He didn't score at all. Again, Players playing consistently, scoring consistently, rebounding consistently. Did we have that a year ago? The answer is no, we did not. Because I just told you Niang had a really good game, and then he had 12 the very next game, a game that we lost by 7 points. Because here's what Houston did in that game. Jalen Green had 32, Van Fleet had 21, Jabari Smith had 17 off the bench, Sengun had 18, Dylan Brooks had 10, and Torrey Eason had 10. So Trae Young was responsible for all 6 of those players? That's interesting. That's real interesting. In that particular game, let's see. Oh, I forgot to mention. Oh, I hadn't gotten that far yet. In that particular game, let's check the game chart. The biggest lead that the Houston Rockets had was 25. My goodness. So Houston had 54 points in the paint. They had 20 second chance points. They only had 11 fast break points. They didn't shoot well from 3 at all. So this should have been a winnable game. They only had 28% from 3. It's 20 second chance points, though. That kills you every single time. All right, next game, which was also a loss, this time to the Miami Heat, 122 to 112. That's 10 points. So now we've lost 2 in a row. The record is now 35 and 38. So now we're 3 games under 500 again. That's March 27th. Let's put that in. Miami. All right, here we go. So how many more games do I have to do? Ooh, it's a chunk. Do I got time? I got time. So how did we lose this game? Zach had 5. Bit had 14. He started in this game. Kongu had 15. Dyson had 9. So you had 2 starters. Again, it's Dyson and Zach. Don't score double digits. That's happened 3 times in 2025 already. Okay. That they combined for like 14 points, 10 points, 4 points. That happened this season. All losses, by the way. Trae had 29 and 12 in that game. So starters, Zach had 5, Vit had 14, Okongwu had 15, Dyson had 9, Trae has 29 and 12. Off the bench, Karras had 17, Niang had 5. Terrence Mann had 14 in that game. That's probably his best game, 6 of 8 from the floor. On the other team, though, Tyler Hero had 36. Trae Young wasn't guarding Tyler Hero, guys. He just wasn't. He wasn't. Bam only had 12 in that game. Andrew Wiggins had 16. Off the bench, Davion Mitchell had 16. Highsmith had 11. Kyle Anderson had 10. Let's look at the game chart. He had a 21-point lead in this game. That's their highest. Points in the paint was dead even at 42, so that's okay. Second chance points, they didn't do anything there. Fast break points. Listen to this. How did we lose this game? This is crazy. Points in the paint, Miami, 42. Second chance points, Miami, 6. Fast break points, Miami, 7. And we still lost this game. Want to know how we lost this game? Miami Heat hit 54% from 3. Let's see how many threes this team hit on us. They hit 18 threes. That's how Miami beat us. Or Trae was responsible for all 18 threes. Can you prove that? You gotta prove that to me. Show it to me. I dare you. Next game was a win against the Milwaukee Bucks, March 30th. So let's go ahead and pull up March 30th real quick against the Milwaukee Bucks. How did we beat Milwaukee? I don't know. That's a miracle, right? Crazy. Stops the losing streak. Needed that. What is this box floating there? There it is. So beating Milwaukee got us to 36 and 38 for the season. This is, again, these are the last 15 games or so of the 2024 season, okay? So in this game, Vitt started again, had 8 points. This cannot be the right game. In fact, okay, that how is this Sunday, March 30th? Hold on, y'all. Oh, that's why. Okay, there we go. I was about to say that was weird. I saw DJ up there. I was like, he don't play for the Hawks. All right, so Zach had his best game. One of his 4 30-point games in his rookie season. 4. How many did Hunter have in his whole career as a Hawk? Well, okay. Anyway, he had 36. Muhammad Gay had 9. Kongu had 13 and 10. Dyson had 22. Trey had 19 and 19. Had his worst shooting game in a long time, 4 of 16 from the floor, but he had 19 points still, and he had 19 assists. He was dishing. Nobody else on the team had double digits except for Niang. Barlow had 8. Terrence Mann had 9. Caris LeVert had 9. Vitt had 3. Muhammad Gay had 9. So somehow we beat the Bucks. So let's see how we beat them. Because Giannis did play 31. Kyle Kuzma had 25. And this was on the road. The Hawks had 145 points. So let's see how we beat them. Let's go to the game chart. We had a 27-point lead in this game. Hawks had 62 points in the paint, 18 second chance points, and 22 fast break points, as opposed to only 46 points in the paint for Milwaukee, 11 second chance points, and 4 fast break points. That's how you beat the team right there. Okay. So that was a win. That was a good win. Next game, Portland Trailblazers. After beating the brakes off the Milwaukee Bucks, we go and get beat by the Portland Trailblazers. Let's find out. 127 to 113. This was April 1st. Again, this is the 2024 season we're talking about. So here we go. See, April 1st. Portland. Checking my time real quick. Oh, I didn't hit enter. All right, let's see what we got here. So there it is. Make sure this matches up to the score. 127 to 113. 127-13. So how did we get beat by the Portland Trailblazers, guys? After having such a good showing against the Milwaukee Bucks? I'm not sure. Well, Zach had 9 points. He was 4 of 14 in the game. Muhammad Gay had 0 points. Kongu had 12. Dyson Daniels had 22 and 10. Boards, that is. Trae Young had 29 and 15. LeVert had 10. Vitt had 13. Dominic Barlow had 8. Terrence Mann had 7. Niang had 3 points in this game. He was 1 of 6 from the floor. Portland Trailblazers, Denny had 32. Kamara had 18. Shaedon Sharpe had 33. Banton had 11. So let's go to the game charts, guys. Let's see what happened. Portland had 66 points in the paint, 32 second chance points, 28 fast break points. That's how you lose a game right there. So you want to try to make me believe that Trae Young was the reason we gave up 66 points in the paint and the 32 second chance points and the 28 fast break points? Sure about that? Go look at the game. Portland had an 18-point lead in that game. The next game, now this is a game I actually showed y'all on Around the ATL. Let's see if I can post that in the chat real quick. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see. Dallas, where is the Dallas? That's the Luka game. That's not the right one. Atlanta versus Dallas. Here it is. I'm going to post it in the chat so you can watch it because I broke this game down shot for shot, possession for possession. Hawks versus Dallas, April 2nd. And I've made a big deal about this particular game because of how egregious it was. For the fact that we lost a 2-point game in a game where we left so many points on the board from missed shots generated from Trae Young. Okay. And you had one player give up so many points to basically one player, which was Anthony Davis. Okay. And no one can explain it. No one wants to say anything about that. But I'm about to, let's see if I can, let's see, is this it? This is it, I think. In this game, because I have the review, I'm gonna use my review. Dallas's top 3 scorers. Anthony Davis in this game had 34 points, 15 boards, and 5 blocks. Trae Young was not guarding Anthony Davis. Clay had 17. Dinwiddie had 14. Dallas had 48 points in the paint. Dallas had 20 fast break points. Dallas hit 15 threes in this game. Okay? In this game. But see, here's the deal. The Hawks left 40 points. This is the one. That's why, okay. Hawks left 40 points on the board from 15 passes created by Trae Young that were all misses in a 2-point loss. 2 points. Muhammad Gay in this one game missed 4 threes. Anthony Davis let him shoot every single doggone three. That was 12 points right there just from one player. Just in the fourth quarter alone, we left 11 points on the board in a 2-point loss. Okongwu gave up 35 points in this game. Trae gave up 13. Risacher, 9. Barlow, 6. Karras, 12 points he gave up in this game. Well, Okongwu gave up 35 points in this one game in a 2-point loss, and you got people who still swear, oh, it must be Trae's fault. It's not. Go look at the game. I posted it. You see the video for yourself. You don't got to believe me. Believe the game. But that was a bad loss right there. Because, again, we had just lost to the Portland Trail Blazers, made our record 36-39. Then we lose to Dallas. We're 36-40 now. Oh, and by the way, in that particular game, let's see, did I pull it up? Let's see if I can pull this. Let's see. Dallas, where is the Dallas? Is this it? In that particular game as well, again, we left 40 points on the board from shots created by Trae Young. And in this game, Trae had 25 and 12 in this game. And in this game, Trae Young gave up 13 points in this game. So Trae generated over 50 points. He gives up 13. How is that Trae's fault? We lost this game by 2 points. I told you who did what, right? I'll say it again. Risacher had 9 points in this game. Muhammad Gay had 11 points. He was 5 of 13 in this game. Trae had 25 and 12. Vitt had 11. Barlow didn't score. LeVert had 14. Mann 5. Niang 6. Dyson had 17 in this game. This was a winnable game. We lost this game by 2 points. By the way, the last shot of the game, we allow Anthony Davis to get the ball and drive on Okongwu, who, guess what? We never double-teamed Anthony Davis the whole time Okongwu was getting destroyed. We didn't double-team Anthony Davis not one time. We didn't do it. Not even the last shot of the game, which Anthony Davis hit the game-winning shot. Trae Young was not guarding Anthony Davis, so how do you blame Trae Young for that loss? I don't know. Anyway, let's keep going. I'm almost finished. That was Dallas. The next game was New York Knicks. 121-105, we got beat by the Knicks. Bad loss, especially since it was the Knicks. What date was that? April 5th. All right, let's plug that in. April 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. All right. Put a little Dave Chappelle in there. All right, here we go. Let's see what we got. Karl-Anthony Towns, 30 points. I already see the headline on there. It's terrible. So how did the Hawks lose this game? So in this game, Zach had 12. Mouhamed Gueye had 6. Okongwu had 6. Dyson had 12. See, they pulled people because everybody didn't play the whole game in this one. They just pulled everybody because we just couldn't beat them. Trey had 16 and 9. Niang had 13. By the way, here's what everybody shot for the most part. Trey was 5 of 15, but he was 3 of 7 from 3. But Niang was 5 of 16 from the floor and 3 of 13 from 3. Okay. Caris LeVert, he had 14. Dominic had 2. Terrence Mann had 14. Vit had 8. But these are basically the garbage minutes because it just pulled everybody and everybody got to play. Keaton Wallace got in there. Even Daquan Plowden got in there a little bit. But again, there's another game where Mouhamed Gueye only has 6 points in this game. Again, he averaged 6 points a year ago. For the Knicks, I guess Trae Young was guarding Josh Hart, who had 16, and OG, who had 24, and Karl-Anthony Towns, who had 30 and 11, and Bridges, who had 20. He was guarding all 4 of those players because DeLon Wright had 10. You know who Trey was guarding. What are we talking about? But we lost that game. Let's see. Let's go to the game chart real quick. Knicks had 34-point lead in that game, all right? Knicks had 54 points in the paint. They had 16 fast break points. They shot 51% from 3. Let's see how many threes they hit on us in this game. That's just ridiculous. They had 15 threes, 15 out of 29. So that was another loss. So after 3 losses in a row, the Hawks win against the Utah Jazz, all right? 147 to 134. So let's plug that one in, April 6th. See what happened there. Again, I'm going over the last 15 games or so of the 2024 season just to show y'all, here's what everybody was doing in each game. Here's what everybody was doing in each game. All right, here we go. Box score. Zach had 16 in this game. Niang started, had 6 points. Okongwu had 27 and 12. Dyson 19. Trey 23 and 15. Caris LeVert had 21. Vit had 17. He had one of his best games. He was 6 of 6 from the floor. Didn't miss a shot. 17 points. Mouhamed Gueye had 8. Terrence Mann had 10. We win this game. Okay. Enough said on that one. I don't want to get into that one. It was a good win. The next game, though, a game we needed to have per the standings at the time, because at that point, the Hawks, when we beat Utah, were 37 and 41. We needed to beat Orlando. This was an important game, April 8th. So what happened against Orlando? Let's find out. So, box score. Zach had 8 points in this game. Mouhamed Gueye had 6 points in this game. Okongwu had 30 and 14 in this game. Dyson Daniels had 15. And Trae Young had 28 and 10 in this game. Vit had 3. Terrence Mann had 0. 29 minutes, Terrence Mann had 0 points. Caris LeVert had 13, 4 of 11 shooting. Niang had 9 on 4 of 10 shooting. Dominic didn't score in his 1 minute of play. So we lost a game by 7 points. 7 points as 2 more starters again didn't get to double digits. One of our mainstay backup players only had 3. Another one had 0. Another one had 9. We lost this game by 7 points. So let's go to the game charts. We gave up 48 points in the paint. Not bad at all. 20 second chance points, though. Only 5 fast break points. So how did we lose this game? Orlando hit 41% from three. So let's see how many threes we gave up in this game, because we lost by 7. 14 threes. Zach had 8 points, 1 rebound. Like, if you're not going to score, what else? You got to put some other stuff on the board. Mouhamed Gueye had 6 points. He had 5 boards. He did have 3 blocks. Is that enough to negate him having only 6 points in the game? I don't know. Well, Okongwu and Trey was doing it. Again, Okongwu was playing very well after he took over for Clint last year with Trae Young. It was Okongwu and Trae Young in a lot of these games. If you notice, what have I been saying, right? All right, so that was a loss. That was a tough loss to take. But guess what? After that loss, the Hawks won the rest of their games for the season. They finished the season out with a win streak of 3 games. So the next game was Brooklyn 133 to 109. Then they beat Philly 124 to 110. And then they beat Orlando 117 to 105. In that Philly game, Trae had 36 and 11. In the Brooklyn game, Richer with another 30-point game at 38, while Trae Young had 12 and Okongwu had 15. Like, Okongwu was leading the team in rebounding pretty much those last 15 games. It was Okongwu. So he was doing what he was supposed to be doing, and he was doing it again this year, right? That's why I wanted to do these games, to show y'all this is what actually happened last year. Not what you think happened. Because in the play-in game, which I showed y'all the overtime in that Dallas April 2nd review, the first part of that review is the overtime of that Miami series, the Miami game, I should say, the play-in game, where you had Okongwu and Trae Young, the only ones who were really like performing, and they're the only ones who scored in overtime. Only Okongwu and Trae Young scored in that overtime. Meanwhile, we gave up 17 points in that overtime, and Trae Young gave up 3 of those points at the end of the game. What happened about the other 14 points? Go look at that review from the April 2nd Hawks versus Dallas game that I put in the chat. You see what I'm talking about. Because in that game, let's go ahead and pull it up, since I can do this real quick. Hawks versus Miami play-in. Let me take the 8th off. Just put April. It should pull up. There it is. I think this is it. Yeah. And again, we could have clinched the 8th seed. We could have did it. Here's what we did that night. And again, I want y'all to explain to me how it was Trae Young's fault. When Zach had 3 points, Mouhamed Gueye had 3 points, Dyson had 11. 3 of your starters combined for 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 points combined in an elimination game. Zach went 1 for 11. Dyson went 5 for 13. Trae Young had 29 and 11 in this game, and Okongwu had 28 and 12. Niang did have 20 points off the bench. He was 8 of 15 from the floor, but not that fourth quarter. You know, you want a reminder what happened in the fourth quarter real quick? I can show you, because there's something called history out here, right? In the fourth quarter, Niang was 1 of 5 in the fourth quarter for 2 points. Okay? Caris LeVert was 0 for 2 in the fourth quarter. Mouhamed Gueye didn't play in the fourth quarter. Okongwu was 2 of 3. He had 5 points. Dyson was 3 of 5 for 7 points. And Trae Young was 4 of 6 for 10 points. And you know he did to get the team to overtime. Terrence Mann did go 2 for 2. But see, here's what happened in the overtime, though. Right? Okongwu 1 for 2. Trae Young 2 for 2. That was our overtime. Nobody else scored. Nobody else scored. And that was the end. Meantime, again, Andrew Wiggins, 1 of 2. Tyler Hero, 2 of 2. Davion Mitchell, 3 of 4. I showed you who gave up each bucket. I showed you exactly what happened. So what have I been saying? One, when Trae Young comes back, we need to be above 500. Right now, we're still pacing that. To be above 500 shows that we have better depth than we did a year ago. And that's proving true. We have players that were not here a year ago now. Porzingis was not on this team a year ago. The times he has played, he has produced. We can prove that, right? NAW wasn't here a year ago. He's proven himself. Yeah, that first game was a stinker, 2 of 15 from the floor. But since then, he's been balling out of control, right? But him having to start puts the rest of the bench on notice to say, hey, we need somebody to step up. In his absence, we hadn't gotten that all the time, have we? We've gotten some good games, but then we've had some stinkers too, right? Off the bench from certain players, right? Luke is finally starting to come into his own a little bit. But he wasn't doing that at the beginning of the season, was he? No, I showed y'all that this morning. That's why context is so important. It matters who's playing and who's not playing, who's available and who's not, who's available and who's not available, who's playing consistently and who is not. The Hawks are supposed to beat the bad teams. We're not supposed to get beat by the Clippers. We're not supposed to almost get beat by the Hornets. We're not supposed to get beat by the Wizards, folks. It's not supposed to happen. Right? Am I wrong? So, that being said, we are 14-11 our first 25 games. I got 2 more episodes that are going to come up. One episode is going to finish out the rest of the games from game 5 all the way up to present to catch up to the record. And then I'm going to do an episode. I don't know when I'm going to do it. I might not be able to do it before tomorrow's game. So I might do it this weekend. We'll see. But I'm going to go back to the 80s and come all the way up and show y'all, hey, guys, here's what we've actually had on our roster each year, what they were producing. I'm also going to do part of the episode or 2. I'm not sure which one. But I'm going to show y'all from 2018 till now, here's the Hawks on defense, because y'all been talking about that a lot. Well, let's go for player, band for band, right? Here's what every player was doing. Here's their defensive rating. Here's their defensive rebounds a game. Here's their taking charges, blocks, everything. Let's see what they were really doing. We're also going to go what they were doing production-wise on offense, too, to see how were we supposed to be competing against these teams where, guess what? They have more players than us who play more consistently than what we have. This team that we have this year is better than that 2020 team that went to the Eastern Conference Finals. Dyson Daniels is better than Kevin Huerter. You can't argue that. Don't be stupid. Don't do it. Now, whether or not you want to say Zach is better than Hunter right now, you know, apples, oranges to an extent. But JJ is better than John Collins. Can't argue that. As much as I like John, JJ is better than John Collins, even though John produced a lot for us. He's one of the only Hawks in Hawks history to go back-to-back seasons with 19 or more points a game. JJ is about to do it, right? But John Collins was first, okay? And of course, either Porzingis or Okongwu is better than Clint. Clint had one really good season with Atlanta Hawks. All of his numbers started going down after that 2020 season. The 2020 season. Everything went down from there. We have a better team than that now. We just need everybody available all the time, right? What are the 5 things that you need to win? You need to have an owner that wants to win all the time and does what's necessary to do so. You need a general manager that makes wise decisions over a long period of time, not just once in a while. You need a good to great coach. You need good to great players. You need to be healthy. And health has hurt the Hawks for decades on end, right? But we got to have people available. Porzingis has to play. Jalen Johnson has to play 70 games. He's only done that once in his career, y'all. What if Jalen Johnson had finished last season? He would have made his first All-Star team last year playing with Trae Young. We were 5th last year, y'all. We were 5th in the East with Trae Young and Jalen Johnson last year. We need Jalen to play a whole season for it to matter. And he has to do that year after year after year. He hasn't done it. He's played one season of 70 games. The last 2 seasons, he's played 36 and approximately 50 games in back-to-back seasons. We need him to be here in April, May for it to matter, guys. Same thing with Porzingis. We really do need him to be around in April for it to matter. We need him. We need our coach to play Zach more than 20 minutes a night. We need that to happen. You see all these little contexts that matter? The Hawks are 25 games in and 14-11. Okay? They are not 20-5. They're 14-11. Okay? So we're going to see what happens this next quarter of games. Trae Young will be back soon. We're going to see what happens. But again, this is part 2 of my 25 games in series. There's 2 more parts. Be looking out for them. Make sure you subscribe to the IMTN Worldwide Radio page. In the meantime, I'm going to get out of here. Y'all have a great evening. I'm glad I was able to pull this off. Again, this was on the fly. I'm trying to get these in. I do have a Falcons segment coming. The Atlanta Falcons, the worst franchise in NFL history next to the Cleveland Browns at this point. It's just really sad what's happening there in Atlanta, but I do have something planned, so be looking out for that too. Make sure you check out the Hawks Dallas review, and if you get a chance to watch part 1, go look at the Toronto Raptors and the Chicago Bulls game reviews as well. Check them out. Until next time, y'all take care. This is Chris on Around the ATL. Peace.
Dribble, pass, throw, catch, hit, slide, grab, respect, around the ATL. Dribble, pass, throw, catch, hit.